Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on evaluating news sources to achieve news literacy. We will be exploring 3 different frameworks that you can use to evaluate your sources. The first source that we'll take a look at is called the CRAP test. Yes, it is called the CRAP test. This is not one single defended tool, but it's one of 3 that we're going to look at today to gauge the reliability of information. Let's go through the letters in the acronym. The first letter, C, stands for currency, or the timeliness of the information. You'll want to ask, when was the information created, published, or posted? Does currency matter? How old is too old? Has the material been updated or revised? And are the links functional? That's currency. The second factor is relevance. Relevance goes to the importance of the information for your needs. Did you look at only one source, or have you looked at a variety of relevant sources? Who is the intended audience that you're looking at? Is the information at an appropriate level for your information needs? The next 2 letters are both A. Let's take the first A. It stands for authority. Authority goes to the source of the information. This is very important. Who is the author or publisher or source or sponsor of the content? What credentials, education, affiliations, or experience does the information creator have to write on this topic? Can you find information about the author easily? Can you tell anything from the domain of the website? Is it .edu, .gov, .org, .com? That will all be important. Is there contact information should you want to get additional information regarding authority? Let's go to the second A in the acronym, another very important factor. It is accuracy. Content is not valuable unless it's accurate. So we're talking about reliability, truthfulness, and simply the correctness of the content. Where does the information come from? Has it been peer-reviewed? Does the author credit their sources? Is it easy for you, if need be, to verify any of the information in another source? And are there grammatical or spelling errors? Those are certainly red flags for accuracy. The last letter in the acronym is P, standing for purpose. This is the reason the information exists. Why was this information created? For most news, we would presume that it was created to inform, or perhaps to teach, but it may also have been created to sell something, to entertain you, or to persuade you. Do the authors or sponsors make their intentions or purpose clear? Does the point of view appear objective and impartial? As we will soon discuss, information can have political, ideological, cultural, religious, institutional, or personal bias, or a combination of these things. It's really to be expected. So transparency is essential, and that is the CRAP test. The next framework comes to us from the News Literacy Project and something they call Rumor Guard. They have set out 5 factors to be aware of when you are reviewing content. Let's take a look at the first 2. And of course, you'll note as you're looking at these, there is overlap within the frameworks, which is to be expected. It just reinforces the importance of these overall concepts. And we're using a variety of terms to get at that literacy that we're seeking. So the first factor in RumorGuard's 5 factors is authenticity. Is the content authentic? Now for online sources, especially photos, it's important to note, has the data been altered in any way? You must look closely before accepting it as real. One thing to look out for is whether the content seems intentionally sensational. That might be a red flag that the content creator is trying to manipulate you and may be fabricating different pieces of content, putting them together to make it seem authentic when in fact it is not. The ability to determine whether something you see online is genuine or has been altered or fabricated in some way is a fundamental fact-checking skill. The second of the 5 factors is source. Has the content been posted or confirmed by a credible source? Not all sources of information are created equal. We know this. But it can be easy to skip over the significant differences if we're quickly scrolling through feeds online. Standards-based news organizations like NBC News or the Wall Street Journal have guidelines to ensure accuracy, fairness, transparency, and accountability. They've published these guidelines. While these sources still are not perfect, they are more credible and dependable than sources that do not abide by such standards. Viral rumors from an unknown person or organization that can confirm our own beliefs or simply are something that we repeatedly appear in social media feeds can feel true, but if no credible source of information has confirmed it, it should be looked at with healthy skepticism. Let's continue on with the next 3 factors. The third one is evidence. We talked about this in the CRAP test. Misinformation can start with a false claim that is simply an assertion and lacks any pretense of evidence. You must ask yourself, what is the evidence for this claim? Is there a direct quote from an informed, reputable source? Are there current photos to accompany the story as opposed to stock or old footage? Are reports or documents cited as evidence? You must fact-check the assertion. The fourth factor is context. Tricks of context are one of the most common tactics used to spread misinformation. While we won't go into detail in these lessons, there are technology tools that can verify the original context of most digital content. So keep that in mind. Authentic content is easy to remove from its original context and place into a new false context. For example, an aerial photo of a sports championship parade can easily be copied and reposted alongside a claim that it depicts a political protest. This factor is truly an extension of the third factor, evidence, and continue to question what you're seeing. The last factor is reasoning. Is the content based on solid reasoning? Again, misinformation is often designed to exploit our subconscious biases and our logic gaps. These blind spots in our rational thinking can make baseless conclusions not only feel plausible, they might make them seem undeniable. Like fact-checking, learning to logic check is a crucial element in verifying information. Beware of claims that are presented in an excited, sensational manner. Remember, the main goal of valid news is to inform, not to make you hysterical. The last framework that we'll look at are the 5 A's of media literacy. And these come from a professor, Paul Michailidis, a professor at Emerson College in Boston. The other 2 frameworks have a lot of similarities. This one is a bit more unique, and it goes into how media can bridge cultural, political, and ideological divides. it provides another way of supporting our deep thinking for ourselves and our community members. The 5 A's are access to media. We should have full access to our media sources. It should not be something that is that we are prevented from seeking information. Awareness of authority, context, and credibility. Talked about these and some of the other factors, but remembering to keep that context and credibility in mind. Assessment of how media portray events and issues. What is the point of view? What is the perspective of a media presentation? Gaining and seeking out appreciation for the diversity of information, dialogue, collaboration, and voices online. Really, this goes to the importance of seeking out diverse sources. If you have a favorite source, perhaps seek out one that you think might be the opposite of that and get that viewpoint. And the last is action. Action to become part of the dialogue. You're doing that here by listening to this tutorial. You're becoming more aware of the things to keep in mind for news literacy and participating in dialogue.